every patient comes with his own peculiar situations, and I think one of the basic things that help us understand and overcome some of these and help them is to have compassion for them and understand that whatever they are doing is coming from a place of illness.
In a world that never stops moving, where pain hides behind the smiles and trauma is tucked beneath tailored suits, there rose a quiet force. A movement, not in noise, but in healing. A vision born not just to treat, but to transform. This is the story of Netwealth.
Getting to the story of Netwealth Medical Services and Rehabilitation Centre. Netwealth Medical Services and Rehabilitation Centre was birthed in the year 2015 by the grant from the federal government reawakening project.
It all began with a spark, the desire to fill a gap that few dread to face in Nigeria's healthcare system: mental health care.
Addiction issues are not so straightforward like people think. It's a chronic and relapsing disorder. And because it's a chronic and relapsing disorder that is usually associated with mental health issues and all that, there's a lot of stigma attached to it.
In a country where conversations around the mind were silenced by stigma and shame, Netwealth opened its doors, not to make noise, but to make a difference.
Wow, Netwealth Medical and Rehab Center has been a transformation center. For my few years I've worked with them, I have seen the lives of so many people changed.
Challenges is that the issue of substance use at times, most people moralize it.
The early days were tough. Skepticism, low funding, the burden of changing public perception, but still, they pressed on. One consultation, one counseling session, one healed person at a time. It wasn't easy, but like they say, the hardest of things aren't always the easiest.
And then, in one of those times, I had somebody that was my downline, I would say, in a network marketing company that I was in, who now came to me with the idea of the win. He said she wanted me to help her to write the proposal, because of course she knows I was good at writing business proposals. So I now bidded for it. I had that discussion with my wife, Mrs. Obunokonoda, who now said, okay, there was a time I wrote a proposal for a minimum standard rehabilitation center for one of the major hospitals in Jos. And she said, okay, rather than just talking about having a training organization that everybody does that's something specialized. So what about using that for the own project? So
From a modest consulting firm, Netwealth Medical Centre evolved. Today, it stands as a beacon of professional counseling, therapy, and mental awareness.
Prior to that period, we have registered Netwealth Consult Limited as a training and development, human capital development organization, with the aim to be able to help people to be the best version of themselves, actualize their potentials and all that. And then
Healing the mind often means healing the body too, especially when the chains of addiction, depression, and trauma have sunk deep.
So, and we want to be able to provide, like you say, state-of-the-art medical services, but at relatively affordable prices to people. Our dream is to see people to be able to be the best version of themselves, as we see, and then to actualize their potentials, cope with normal stresses of life, work productively, and be able to be contributing members of society.
Netwealth Medical and Rehab Centre has become a sanctuary not of punishment but of renewal. Here, patients battling abuse, psychiatric illnesses, depression find hope. Netwealth Medical and Rehabilitation Centre has since become a sanctuary not of punishment but of renewal, giving hope, peace, and joy to families and people who thought they couldn't get it. It is not just about medication or detoxification, it is about restoring dignity, rebuilding lives, and reawakening dreams that once seemed lost.
Sometimes I tell myself you can make more money than this. However, because it's a calling and we see lives changed, we have kept at it and we give glory to God.
But Netwealth didn't stay within hospital walls. They took Netwealth to the streets. From students to professionals, community leaders to families, they sparked conversation that were once considered taboo. The road hasn't been easy. Nigeria still spends less than 5% of its health budget on mental health. Infrastructure is thin, therapists are few, and stigma still stings like a shadow. But through it all, Netwealth stands tall. Because at Netwealth, healing isn't just a service. It is a calling. From one counselor's dream to a full-fledged medical and rehab institution, Netwealth has become a symbol of resilience, community, and the power of mental restoration. There are still battles to fight, still minds to reach, still lives to save, but as long as Spain exists, Netwealth will remain. A place where healing begins and hope is never too far away.
Alright, so I would say that in the next decade, Netwealth Medical Services and Rehabilitation Centre should be your preferred number one solution provider for addiction management and all sorts of mental health problems.